Because the blood carries everything.
Mm-hmm.
It carries our history, carries our legacy. It changes who we are, and that change continues through our lineage. And I said, I want you to imagine a man watching his wife being beaten, being raped, watching his daughter being beaten, being raped, and in that moment, he has to decide: do I get up, swallow, and go back to the cotton field tomorrow, or do I die tonight?
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine that man making the decision to live, and what that does to his blood for the rest of his life. His seed carries with him that swallow.
That reproach.
That swallow, the idea of taking it. So when I go to the South and I see a black man stares racism in the face and swallows,
because he wants to live.
I know where that is coming from. And I know the markers that are in his DNA.
So you believe in what Joy Leary says about post-traumatic slave syndrome?
Yes.
And how it...
Yes.
Is this why we as a black nation are not successful? Because, you know, we've had a number done on us?
When your creator looks like your oppressor, we're in the wrong column. When I can have a conversation with a woman 2 days ago, and I said to her, you know, we're fighting for all of this, and Africa has space. And she said, what do you mean by space? I said, space.
It has a lot of space.
For everything.
Yeah.
For everything you want to do. And she goes, that has never been an option for me.
Because she's never traveled.
That's a problem.
That's a big... Because the problem is, if someone else is telling your history, which is why the work that you're doing is of such importance. Because we see, if we don't control our history, we get written out of history.
Yes.
What's the big film at the moment?
La La Land.
No, the other one.
Miracle?
No, with the space program.
Hidden
Figures.
Right.
Hidden Figures.
Right.
I didn't know that history. Did you?
No. Who wrote it? A black woman.
I didn't know that history.
It took her. We had to write it, and it's so true. We have to start writing our stories because nobody's going to write it. Nat Turner is a story I worked on for National Geographic.
Are you talking about the film, the latest film that's
Right.
out there? Tell me about that.
But I also worked on some of the artifacts that were donated to the Smithsonian, the new
Which in
African
Washington,
American
which I have to go to.
Right. So I worked on going to the homes of some of the people who donated their work, and
I'm so sorry, Conduit listeners. I'm with Ruddy Roye, and the conversation is so riveting and so fascinating. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ruddy, but we have to let our listeners know that I am conscious of you, Sally Mignot, Lamont Howell, Lamore Howell, Sister Kushi. Bless up, Sister Kushi. Please share the video, because this information, my God, if I die tomorrow, please somebody share this video. I'm begging you. And I'm getting very emotional because today I heard that one of my dear sisters passed away. And death is all around us. Death is all around us, and none of us know. When? Make your life meaningful. This young brother has made such a difference. Time magazine recognized the importance of the work. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have fun, we shouldn't party, but we need to stop the buffoonery and the coonery. These are serious times, because the next generation is lost and the generation after that is coming. What difference are you making in the lives of those people who are going to be looking after you when you reach old age? I'm sorry.
No, that's good. No, because, you know, again, these conversations that I'm in, intentional art that's intentional. There's a difference between intentional art and escapism. And, you know, I've grown up around too much escapism.
Yeah.
You know, it was...
Has no substance.
Sister Nina Simone said, if you're living in a time and your art does not
reflect those times, what are you doing?
How can you call yourself an artist? You know, so, you know, the legacy is in front of us. It's for us to go through, take up the mantle and bring it forward.
And it's something as simple as when you see a policeman stopping somebody, use your cell phone. Stay at a respectable distance that you're not obstructing.
That's it.
Make notes, document. Because, my God, thank God for the age of technology that we could see a Mike Brown getting choked to death.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that now we're living in an alternate society where alternate truth is being paraded as truth. We are not stupid people. Open your eyes and see what's going on. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Do not drink the Kool-Aid. And, you know, we have a Ruddy Roye to just... They say a picture is 1,000 words and pictures don't lie. And I want to say, for the work that you've done in capturing that Black Lives Matters movement, and that's just one, because you've done work with the homeless, and just documenting what's going on in your locale, in your Brooklyn area, in Bed-Stuy. I mean, this is amazing. And this is a young brother from Jamaica, which makes us even more proud. We're not promoting other or promoting one country or one nation over another. We're all melanin. We're coming from Africa. I know some people have a problem with that, but when I went to Ghana for my 60th birthday last year, I sat down in Kumasi, and it was like a weight fell off of me. You know when the sister who wrote Waiting to Exhale, I exhaled, and I knew I was home. And I've had this thing in me where you talk about the blood. I can relate because I don't have no connection to Ghana, but I know that's where I'm from. Ever since I was a child, I used to say, I'm going to marry a Ghanaian man. It didn't happen, but I did go to Ghana. And I would encourage everybody to travel to Africa.
I fell asleep when I was in the Congo. Like, the house that I was staying in had every fruit tree that is in my home back in Jamaica, except one tree, and they couldn't tell me the name. It was a Lingali word that I forgot. But even the word gungo,
peas,
gungo peas. Well, gungo is a Lingali word that means lie, and so for me it was like, oh, it has to be the lying peas because it bears at a time when no peas should be bearing.
So it's a lie.
So it's a lie. It's the lying peas. So it's just
knowledge on the Conduit Show, people with Ruddy Roye.
So I mean, it's these are the things that I look back and I'm like, we don't know
our history.
We have no idea, and it's for us. We cannot sit and wait for Spielberg to
tell truth because they're telling their truth, not ours.
It's about money.
Yeah,
it's about sales.
I know, because I know that there are a group of black actors now who've moved into directing. God bless Denzel Washington.
Ooh,
Fences was off.
Brilliant.
It was such a roller coaster.
Brilliant.
I was emotionally drained at the end of that movie.
Brilliant.
And I'm so glad he got the SAG award for acting. He should have got it for directing, but you know what? We'll give him a pass. And also Viola Davis. I stood here. I've been standing here with you for the past, the snot and everything.
18 years.
And I'm like, wow. The talent is there, and we need to stop waiting for the recognition. We need to, as Marcus Garvey said, we need to recognize ourselves. We need to have our own symbols. Ruddy, it's now 8:50. I wanted to play some more Dennis Brown music. But I want the Conduit listeners to tell me, do you want to hear British Empress, Sister Kushi? Do you want to hear more Ruddy Roye? And I guess they're all watching the Super Bowl, but we are recording this and it's going to go on YouTube. I mean, I just was blown away by the fact that I called you directly and you said yes. You won't know how that made me feel.
It's important. This work is important. What you do is important.
How can we further your work?
I don't have. Again, I don't know the answer. I think I live a very. I wouldn't say I don't go to church.
I see you're wearing.
I've been to Ethiopia. I understand the need for spirituality. I pray. I believe.
What do you believe?
I believe that there's a creator, and I believe that all of us belong to the creator. It was that thought that allowed me to understand homosexuality. It was also understanding who I am as a dad that made me understand our humanity. So for me, life is about growth. Life is about allowing your mind to expand beyond the parameters of what the social constructs.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we're all one.
We are.
Rasta, the idea of Rasta is so powerful because it is oneness. And
But you know what? In the same way that I, as a Christian, had this conversation, we have these discussions in church that, you know, Christians get a bad rap because you're believing in this white God. But God doesn't have color.
no, it doesn't.
For me.
No, it doesn't.
And I look at those images, as Taurus Riley says, take the white Jesus off of the wall. I don't see color. In the same way, growing up in England as a child, when there weren't many black children around, all of my friends were not black. They were from Cyprus, from every other country but the Caribbean and Africa.
I went to Ethiopia to hear from a friend. No, he was a filmmaker, and he was there doing the same thing I was there. I was there to teach. And he said, for a second, just forget about color. And adopt the idea that the Bible is trying to teach you a consciousness.
Oneness, love,
a consciousness
love.
that Christ came here and walked a certain path, and that is the path that everybody
That we should be following.
Should be following.
The problem is, though, Rudy, black people don't have a problem not seeing color. It's everybody else who has a problem not seeing color. And the problem doesn't lie with us in terms of that. It lies with the others.
Well, we didn't invent black and white. We were either Moors or Afri. There was the Irish, the Italians. It wasn't until
I mean, I didn't know race was black.
well, quick
Was a color.
quick history lesson. When we came off the plantation, who do you think the slave master called when he needed his roof fixed?
The same slaves.
The same slave.
Who-
Only this time the slave held out his hand and said,
Pay me.
2 pence. You know, pay me something.
But it was still slavery.
Whose economics grew? Black folk.
Yes.
And there was a group of white folks who weren't working who looked at that and said,
They shouldn't have that.
they shouldn't have that.
And this is why I agree with separation. I absolutely agree, because that is when black people prospered the most. They were the most doctors, the most teachers, the most successful business people. But all of those communities were then destroyed by whites.
Well, there was a time when I believed in separation. There was a time when I believed that integration was the worst thing that could ever happen to us.
I think so.
But I also believe in humanity. And I believe that there's no way, none, where we're going to get forward without the other. There's no way. It will never exist.
No, you know what? I think we have to, for our own self-preservation, we have to take where we serve.
Maybe for a while. Maybe for a while. But I know that if we're going to go, because the nature of divisiveness will always come back with a sting. The tail will always come back. We go forward, leave one, the tail come back and sting. If we go up there together, chances are.
But I think in the same way that we have the psyche and the stigma of being enslaved, because we weren't slaves, we were enslaved.
We were enslaved.
We were enslaved. I think it's the same way that those who were slavers have a psyche and a DNA to be evilous and wicked towards their fellow man, and nothing will change. Case in point, the death of Emmett Till, I think, was 50 years a couple of days ago, and the woman who set the whole train in motion.
She was on the internet the other day. Everybody put her up.
It should have popped down with her in the midst of it. After all this time, this woman had the balls to come and say, can I say that on air? Had the gall, that's what I said, I'm sorry, G, not B, had the gall to come and say, it was a lie. What a wicked woman.
It's redemption. Again,
it's not redemption.
Again, the Christian.
As a Christian, I know. But
you have
God
to
have to work with me.
You have to forgive. You have to forgive. The only way, I'll give you a
Tell that to Emmett Till's mother.
No, quick story. My mom visited me, and I brought her to the airport. And, when you park up, and she couldn't take out the baggage, so I took out the baggage and brought it to the door.
They gave you a ticket?
I turned around, and it was on the
no!
It was on the thing.
The truck to tow away?
But I saw her reaction looking over my shoulder. So when I turned around, I ran up to him. I said, dude, I'm right here. He goes, it's going to cost $50-something to take it down. And immediately,
Wow.
my blood started to boil. And that was in the morning, for the first 5 hours of that morning,
Your whole day was messed
I
up.
was incensed. And I remember driving somewhere and somebody wanted to come out. And I allowed them to come out, and they turned to me and they said, thank you.
And it brought you back.
And something in my heart eased.
Melted. Yeah.
And it didn't really come home yet until I don't know where I was, and I did something else, and somebody turned to me and said, thank you. And I realized that energy has to be replaced by energy.
Wow. That's so true.
You cannot. Any psychologist, any psychiatrist that tells you, you just have to get over it.
No.
It doesn't work.
No, because all that hurt and pain stays with you and cause disease.
Disease creates disease.
Yeah.
You have to
replace that bad energy with good.
With another
yeah.
energy.
So when I have a reaction, something happens to me, and I want to be nasty to someone else, I consciously say, no, I'm going to let that person come out. Or when that person lets me in, put my hand up, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a knock-on effect. And then that person then takes that good thought and displays it to somebody else. So they pay it forward.
That's it.
Oh, my goodness. Rudy, you got to come back.
Anytime.
We have to do a forum with some other people. I'm so happy to meet you. And your energy is just incredible. I'm sorry, Conduit listeners. I am not ignoring you. Well, I am really, because I'm speaking with Ruddy Roye, and it's such knowledge that's dropping on the Conduit show, but we're kind of out of time. Sister Kushi saying, thanks for making the distinction, not slaves, just enslaves. Sister Kushi, we got this, right? I was the youngest member of the Panthers in England, and I want to tell you about the history. I've been searching for a record, some documentary evidence of that fact, because I know I was there. I want to validate by seeing evidence. And I found a picture today. I'm in the background. I'm in the background. And I looked and I said, wait a minute. I said, is that me or Olive Morris? And when we look good, I used to have a unibrow. And I looked at that and I said, backside. I'm me.
Yeah.
So continue what you're doing, my brother, because you are validating some people who need to know that they are human beings and they count. What a powerful show today. I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to everyone who logged on and listened, watched live. This knowledge and this information, you would pay thousands of dollars. Yes, I know Fiona Princess Black is in England. It's about 3:00 in the morning over there, and she's logged on and listening. Bless up to you, Fiona Princess Black. I love you, love you, love you. And I'm going to send you the book tomorrow. I got the book and it's been sitting on my desk. I'm going to mail it out to you tomorrow, the book on Marcus Garvey. I wasn't able to get the author to sign it because